Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, there has been a new Senate meeting to talk about the mystery drones. Did they get anywhere? Are they going to reveal it? This is a bit of a longer clip from News Nation than I usually show, but there's some good information here, so let's go through it.
Hi, Nicole. So the Senate Armed Services Committee met with members of the military. The meeting lasted about an hour in a very sensitive area of the Capitol building. We spoke with senators on the way out. They were very tight-lipped about what they discussed. Senator Tommy Tuberville, we asked him what was discussed. He said drones. We asked, did you learn anything from the Department of Defense about those drones over the Northeast and New Jersey? Here's what he had to say. He downplayed essentially that these were anything but personal or local drones. Take a listen.
We're going to run into that when you sell them over the counter. You're going to continue to have problems with that. You hate to put regulations on all that, but eventually that's going to happen when you have more and more access to the bigger drones, the drones that go farther, cameras, have different things on them. You know, they can be very dangerous used as a weapon, but again, it's all about catching up with technology, and again, anything that's unmanned can be used in a lot of different ways, as we're seeing overseas.
But here's the thing. The chair of the Armed Services Committee did not downplay this. Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi made the bombshell claim to CBS News last week that the Pentagon and the National Security Advisors are still mystified about the drone activity last year. And after key revelations from the NORAD Northcom Chief General Gregory Guillot at the previous Armed Services Committee and threat about these drones, here's what he had to say.
Senator, the primary threat I see for them in the way they've been operating is detection and perhaps surveillance of sensitive capabilities on our installations. There were 350 detections reported last year on military installations, and that was 350 over a total of 100 different installations of all types and levels of security. Yeah.
Okay, the reporter goes on to say that sheriffs in New Jersey are reporting a decrease in the number of mystery sightings. However, Ryan Graves is saying that his organization is still seeing reports of these things, and he has some other interesting things to say in response to all of this.
Yeah, we heard Armed Services Committee member Senator Tommy Tuberville in our setup repeat the White House line that it's all fine, nothing to see here, but committee chair Senator Wicker said on that CBS report that military officials are still mystified about the drones. Do you think this committee will finally get to the bottom of this?
I don't know. What's clear is that there seems to be two very different competing agendas going on, even in the halls of Congress as well, not just within the executive branch. But the bottom line is, people are seeing this. This is a national security concern when these are infiltrating our bases, and we need to figure out who they are. So we need to figure out less about who's saying what side of the story and try to figure out how we can plug this gap.
You know, we aren't hearing very much. I mean, there was a time late last year when these drone sightings led almost every newscast that I anchored here. It was huge news, front page news, lead story news, everywhere. We're not hearing anything more about the sightings lately. Do you think that they've stopped, or do you think that, you know, there's just so much other stuff going on that its attention has faded?
You know, I predicted this a little bit back in early December when I was asked how I thought this was going to end. And my prediction was that it was simply going to kind of fizzle off the radar a bit, that the amount of reports would start to decrease. The media cycle would start to focus on something else, especially around the holidays. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Americans for Safe Aerospace, we receive a lot of reports from not only pilots and professionals, but from the average civilian as well. And at safeaerospace.org, we've been receiving many reports from the New Jersey area and elsewhere about similar incidences, as well as, of course, following various social media posts and otherwise. We're fairly confident that this is still occurring, and we are looking at options of being able to bring some counter-UAS technology to bear on this problem.
Okay, there you go. He says it's still occurring, still ongoing. That's what he's seeing. It would be great to get some solid data on that, on the numbers of these sightings. Are they still ongoing? Are people just not reporting them anymore because they're just used to these things flying over their head? What is going on? What is the purpose of these things? If the activity is decreasing, does that mean their mission is done, whatever that is? If this is the phenomenon doing this, there's, I guess, two real possibilities. One is they're doing something functional. And some of the evidence suggests that they might be doing that. There's witnesses that have seen these mystery drones performing grid-like patterns as if they're functionally doing something. But in many cases, they don't seem to be doing anything necessarily functional, and possibly surveillance. But you would think that the phenomenon would have better means of surveillance than drones like this or whatever they are. So could they be sending a message to somebody? That seems to be the implication. I mean, they're showing up at night decked out like Christmas trees. No attempt at all to be stealthy, even though they seem to be able to be transparent and to cloak themselves whenever they want to. They seem like they're trying to get attention. This seems like it was designed to send a message to somebody. So if the activity is fading, and I'm not sure if it is, but if it is, does that mean that the message has been received and acted upon in some way? So let me know what you guys think about it all in the comments below. This is such a weird thing. We need answers on the mystery drones, and we need to keep the pressure on Congress and the executive branch to provide those answers to us instead of the lies they have been giving us so far. But is the control group holding the president back? And what can be done about that? On that UFO podcast, Danny Sheehan talks about what he is doing about that.
Against the deep state, because until this group that is in charge of the UFO and ET secrets are dug out and exposed, President Trump is not going to be able to deal with the deep state. These people are the core of the deep state, and they reach into all kinds of other areas. But this is the core of the deep state. This is the most profound, deep secret that is held by the people that are operational in the deep state. And they will not voluntarily tell the president, and they will not voluntarily tell the Congress. They're going to have to be compelled to do that. And that's why I've been asked to draft the complaint under the Federal Criminal Racketeering Act, the federal criminal complaint against these people. And I'm in communication with high-level people inside the Justice Department and inside the FBI who are perfectly prepared to go forward with criminally prosecuting these people. That will put the fear of God in them.
Well, we'll see, Danny. We'll see. But I love that idea of trying to criminally prosecute the UFO control group. Danny Sheehan tries to criminally prosecute the UFO control group. I love it. But yeah, this is something I've talked about before. I'm sure many others have as well. But if best case scenario, David Grush, got something going with the declassification task force, and Anna Paulina Luna, Eric Burleson, and the others were able to present Donald Trump with, one perfect file to declassify on UFOs. Would he be able to do it? Even if he wanted to, Ross Coulthart and Haim Eshed, they've talked about how Trump in his previous administration wanted to declassify, but he was persuaded or threatened from doing that. So let's just say that he wanted to. Would he be able to declassify that document? Well, Danny Sheehan is saying maybe not, because the control group won't let him. But potentially, if Danny Sheehan can hold their feet to the fire, that will change. So yeah, let's move on to the next story. But I thought that was really interesting. So let me know what you think about all that. Meanwhile, Paranormal is reminding us of Jonathan Huygen in his story. A detail that I had forgotten is that his UFO was egg-shaped, more or less.
10 meters in width and about 20 meters in length. I'm just not sure. That's just an estimate from what I remember. But it was huge. I mean, it was big, man. And it was shaped almost like between an egg and like a teardrop almost. It looked really aerodynamic. at least in the shape. But the closer I was close enough to take out detail on it that it was not just smooth. There was bumps and notches and things in it. It was really organic. It was almost like art. That's really how you would. It didn't look like something that somebody made in a shop. It didn't have that clunkiness or that tin can kind of deal. It was more of art. I would say. It looked to be that it could have been handmade, but out of what and what materials, I don't know.
Yeah, so there you go. Jonathan Wygant, who has what I believe is a very important testimony about his experience in South America involving this UFO crash retrieval, where he got to see some of the ins and outs of the UFO control group. And part of what makes his testimony so important is he was able to see the multinational aspect of the UFO control group. Back in the 90s, China was involved, working with the U.S. and other countries. That's what he was seeing, which is really, really intriguing and goes with some other information pointing out the multinational aspect of at least part of the UFO control group. And there's some other really interesting and important aspects of his testimony, and including the idea that this craft was egg-shaped. And of course, we're seeing a lot of that these days with the Jake Barber information. Now, all of a sudden, egg-shaped UFOs are all the rage, and everybody's talking about it. Now, another thing people are talking about, Christopher Mellon is saying that we now need a study on the effects of UFO disclosure. So let's get into this story. He says, as I've argued elsewhere, such as in my June 3rd, 2023 Politico article, humanity would benefit from knowing the truth. But I also recognize that the initial fear and paranoia such a revelation could trigger might prove costly and destabilizing. Before proceeding further with the investigation of these allegations, perhaps it is time for Congress or the administration to sponsor an in-depth study of the social, economic, and national security consequences that could result from contact with an alien civilization. This is, after all, something that could happen at any time, even if it hasn't already. And Tim Gallaudet is backing up on that, saying, totally agree on the need to study the implications of UAP disclosure on society, as the great Harold Malmgren advocated for. But wait a minute, hasn't there already been such a study? I remember a story that James Fox told where he sat down with Bob Bigelow, and Bob Bigelow was saying he was more or less against UFO disclosure because he had seen just such a study showing the catastrophic consequences upon society if we did have UFO disclosure. I was trying to find the podcast where James said that, so I asked Grok about it. And Grok said, well, I can't pinpoint the exact interview where James Fox recounted this specific story about his meeting with Robert Bigelow due to the lack of a singular definitive source in the provided references. I can confirm that this narrative aligns with discussions Fox has had in various public forums. Based on available information, one likely candidate is the Concrete Podcast. Anyway, Grok goes on. James Fox did apparently sit down with Bob Bigelow, and Bob had said he had seen this study of the effects on civilization if there were UFO disclosure, and it was bad. And that is apparently possibly a reference to this. Per UAP News, a study on the effects of disclosure was conducted during the years 2004 and 2007. Hal Puthoff discusses this at Soul. Referencing this disclosure study, interviewees claims that between 2004 and 7, the White House requested a research institute in Virginia study the theoretical societal aspects of disclosing that UAP are ET in origin. Arrow confirmed the study was conducted, but it was not requested by the White House. Well, not that you can rely on anything that Arrow says, but yeah, apparently there was a study done back during the era that Bob Bigelow would have been working with these guys. So that's probably the study he's talking about. And although we haven't seen that study, maybe it's classified. Apparently, it does exist, and the results were that the society, there would be social upheaval. Now, is that true? Is that not true? Obviously, the UFO control group, people that are in the know on all of this, haven't run amok right? You know, they know the truth about this. They haven't gone crazy. Why should the general public be any different? Why should they be the gatekeepers of this information for the public? No, that's wrong. They don't deserve to know the truth, and the rest of us stay in the dark. So I don't place any credence on this study. It could well be disinformation fed to people like Robert Bigelow. Either way, I don't think that we need a new study. However, let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's say that study that was done in 2004 to 2007 is classified and we'll never see it. So we could say that Chris Mellon is calling for a new study done in the public light. I don't personally see the need for such a study, but let me know what you guys think. I guess, if there were such a study conducted and the results were favorable, that it wouldn't be catastrophic upon society, then that would encourage the powers that be to disclose, right? So it could have a good effect on disclosure. And hey, maybe that's why Chris Mellon is saying it, because he knows that's the case. But what if it's the opposite, right? That could slow down disclosure. But, in that situation, it would be for the best, I guess. But either way, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, Yahoo is sharing this cool UFO video. I'll show you the video in a second, but here's the information on it. A shape-shifting, slowly turning object hovered high above Green Cove Springs on Saturday afternoon, leaving many to speculate about it. The morphing black object was high above just west of US 17 and south of County Road 315, slowly heading south. It made no noise and was at least a few hundred feet off the ground. At times, the shape was like a spacecraft, while it also looked like a turtle shell, a ball inside with a white outline that almost looked like a mouth and teeth. Naval Air Station Jacksonville announced recently that it would be conducting training exercises beginning Saturday, March 22nd. The facility is about 15 miles north of where the object was floating. NSA Jax advised nearby residents that there would be an increase in air traffic and noise. However, air traffic activity and noise. However, the object hovering above Green Cove made no noise that could be heard from the ground. So this is the object in question. This morphing black object that apparently is not CGI. It's apparently not a balloon. I mean, could it be a balloon? Some sort of a deflated balloon thing? I don't know, guys. That is definitely an intriguing object. Yeah, and you can see how it's shape shifting a little bit. I don't know. It's an interesting one, guys. It's an interesting one. Not sure how I feel about this object. I'd love to see some detailed analysis and breakdowns of this thing. But a super intriguing UFO sighting. So let me know what you think about it. And here's another one. Another weird shaped UFO. I like that shift in direction. That's cool. And it's a similar weird dark object that may be slightly changing shape as it goes. I love that change in direction. It's not just going with the wind. I mean, I guess the wind could shift, but still pretty cool. Let me know what you think. Meanwhile, I talked about this interview with Trevor Grassi on Funny Old World the other day. A really great interview where they go into the mystery under the Giza Plateau. And it's just a fascinating interview. And I've linked to it before and I'll link to it again. I highly encourage everybody to go check it out. There's some great stuff in there. But one thing I missed, and David Haith is bringing this up, breaking down part of the interview. Researcher Trevor Grassi, the man who revealed news of a massive complex deep under the Middle Pyramid, claims the new tech will reveal that 95% of ancient Egypt is underground, including at least 6 lost cities. He said, "I'm honored that it was I that got to break this story. It is not a hoax. We are going to get confirmation. That is not dynastic period. This is not carved with chisels. It's just beyond anything anyone has ever seen before." He added, "We are very close, so much closer than anyone would believe, to getting an excavation permit in the east end of the plateau." So that's enormously exciting. Normally they don't allow a whole lot of excavation, if any, in the Giza Plateau. And he says, yeah, they are actually close to getting there. Man, that is exciting times, guys. I hope that happens. And I think that other information that he has, or this, his theory, his belief, is that there are 6 lost cities buried underground in Egypt. That's pretty cool, guys. Is this proof of Atlantis? Well, it's not proof of anything yet because we haven't seen it. But it's super exciting. I am absolutely a believer in Atlantis, or at least a lost ancient civilization that had high tech and that had a global presence. I think the proof of that is pretty overwhelming. Was it literal Atlantis? Was it Plato's Atlantis? I don't know, but there does seem to be a lot of reason to think that, including this connection with Egypt. So, but yeah, what do you think? Are there lost cities under Egypt? Is 95% of ancient Egypt actually underground? That's crazy, guys. I love it, but it's pretty crazy. Need proof, guys. Need proof. Need corroboration. But I hope they get it. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Last but not least, ducklings go into water for the first time. Let me know what you think about these brave ducklings and their awesome duck mama, and everything else in the comments below. Like and subscribe, hit the bell. There they go. You can do it, guys. You can do it. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's see some guts. You can do it. They're going. They're going. There we go. There we go. And I love the crowd's reaction too. They got this. They got this. Love it. Love it. All right, let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you want to support the channel, you can buy a t-shirt, check out the merch store, buy one of my novels, see the links below, become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Also, channel members frequently get to see videos hours ahead of everybody else. So yeah, get the scoop, guys. Become a channel member. Also, there's plenty of other videos on the channel. And I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.